This assignment is called Found Alphabet, and we call it Found Alphabet because you are finding different letter shapes within the world around you. These letters here, D, E to M, are from Lisa Reinerman, and one unique thing about what she was doing was she was looking unconventionally. She was looking up for all of these photos to find the letter forms. And your ability to see shapes and angles is something that would be fun to practice now in this piece. Another way that you can see this unique type of looking is from far above, and this is in the GeoGreeting website that's posted here. Some really cool shapes and stuff. So you two have been assigned a series of letters, either A to M or N to Z or a variation of those. And your job is to go out and take those photographs. Once you have, and try to keep it so that it's well composed as you go, you want to take not just a photograph of a letter in a funny way that you find, but also you want that photograph to be beautiful or interesting in some way. So take time with this. Make a smart letter composition. You need to have it at least 8 megapixels big. We're trying to print these as 8 by 10. So when you bring your photographs back to our lab, you're going to open up Photoshop and resize it. But let's just focus on first getting the pictures off the camera. So you've got your camera with pictures on it back to class. You've taken the USB cord that's appropriate for your camera, and you are going to open up Windows Explorer. And you'll notice that in the computer section, if you click on the triangle, your camera, unless it's powered on, is not showing up. So turn on your camera, and it will recognize that it's connected by a USB to your computer, and that should open up this. Now you can double click on Browse Files to begin looking through, and in the DCIM, and sometimes there's a few folders you might have to hunt around for them. Let's say these are the pictures you want. You select all of them by clicking and dragging a box around them, or you can click on the first one and shift click on the last one and press Control X. You want to cut them off the camera. Control X. And you can go to the location where they're supposed to go. You guys were going to For Students in, Yearbook in, Assignment 4, Found Alphabet, and you'll make your own folder. So new folder. You can also click the new folder up here and type out your name. And it's in this empty folder that you'll paste. Control V to paste. If you need to sort through which pictures you're going to keep and which ones you're not going to keep, it's nice to change the view to large or extra large icons just to see which ones you like. And for the ones that you know you want to keep, like this set of 3 for instance, there are 3 options for my F. None of them are very good, but you'll click on the one that you want and click on the file name itself again. So that's a click, pause for a moment, and then click again, and then locate your cursor to that point. You can press 1 dot, and that will automatically, once you refresh, it'll send the pictures that have 1 dots all the way up to the top. So you can press F5, and that 1 dot will go up to the top. It's just a little way to organize your files. If you don't have Photoshop open, you can open it now. And from that folder that you had your files in, you can just quickly click the pictures that you want, hold down Control if you want to select more than one, and you can drag them into Photoshop. And let go. You can do that anywhere here or down by the project bin, and it'll open up the file. Now I'd rather not work on this file just because I was doing it as a test, but one of my students made 2 really great pieces that I wanted to work with, so let me show you examples of her stuff. And as they open up, you can drag them up towards the orange bar so that you can maximize them in the workspace. So you'll notice once these files are in what image size they were saved to. This one was 22 by 16 at 180 pixels per inch. That's not going to be suitable for what we're aiming for. We want 8 by 10 at 300 pixels per inch. So you can crop this down and assign a new size value to it using the crop tool. So the crop tool is here, And I've already got the aspect ratio set to 8 by 10, but you could use custom units and resolution. 8 by 10 at 300, or just make sure that aspect ratio of 8 by 10 is selected here. Adding the resolution here is important because our original file was at 180 pixels per inch and we want it at 300 for good printing quality. So as I move this crop tool and click and drag out a box, which will be the only part that's kept, everything around it will be deleted. You'll want to watch out for two things: that the crop makes an attractive arrangement of things in your composition, so there's no weird areas of tension or things that are getting awkwardly cut off. And you also want to make sure that your letter is clearly legible. Part of this is to communicate whatever letter you've been assigned. So in this case, it was an H. And my crop, it doesn't matter whether I go horizontal or vertical. If I want it to go 8 inches wide and 10 inches high, I can click this reversal, and that'll reassign that. If I zoom out with Control minus, I'll have to also change this. The good thing about this fixed crop is that you cannot drag out from the side and wreck your image. You kind of are stuck with dragging from a corner and resizing those in proportion to one another. So we're trying to figure out what is the best arrangement for content in this composition, and balancing color, balancing value, making sure it's not too boring a piece, and trying to make it dynamic. Say we're happy with that. You can press the green check mark, and that is the new composition. Once you have your composition cropped down to, you can see it here, 8 by 10 inches at 300 pixels per inch, you can enhance this to make it look even better than it did. Maybe the lighting was a little wrong in the scene. Maybe it was over or underexposed. So you can enhance by going up to the Enhance menu and adjusting color or adjusting lighting. Levels is a very frequently used adjustment for photographers, and so is the Adjust Hue and Saturation. Those enhancements are also available as adjustment layers. The good thing about an adjustment layer is that it helps you work non-destructively. So if I, for instance, enhance this, and I adjusted lighting or levels, and I'll use Control L from now on to do this, you can drag over the white value to bring any pixels that used to be a very light gray to be totally white now. And let's say I totally washed it out. I wasn't using my judgment and I made maybe a mistake. If I do further work on this, maybe add some text or something, maybe more enhancements occur. Maybe I change the Adjust Hue Saturation, I boost the saturation on it, and then I realize, oh, you know what, I wanted to maybe make this less light again. You can't really go back. You can do the best that you can to press Control L and change these values, but you're going to be restricted in the number of pixels that are on offer to modify. So you really should use the adjustment layers when you're making broad enhancements to something that you don't know whether you're going to be totally satisfied with. So click on this little black and white circle down here, and we'll do a levels adjustment first. Levels down here shows you the number of pixels in an image and what value they have. So there's lots of middle gray. There's lots of maybe 25% gray and not so much in the dark. So I'm going to bring those dark ones up a bit, make it slightly higher contrast. You can see that movement slide over. And usually people just poke in on this side and poke in on this side. And if they need to change the white values as well, or the middle values, then they can do that afterwards. So I'm liking the contrast that's developing in this, and I can double click on adjustments to minimize this, minimize that too. So I've got this levels layer now, which is a thing that I can go back to and fix just by making sure I can slide this around, and it'll be a non-destructive way of working. If there's something specific in the image that's irritating you or you think the levels are off on, you can modify that individually. Let's say you took the polygonal lasso tool, you didn't like the way that this corner you maybe feel like it wasn't dark enough, it wasn't balancing the contrast going on this side, you could make a selection of that particular area that you want adjusted and make an adjustment layer for that too. And it just focuses on those pixels. You can see that they're all about 60% gray. So if I darken those and make them a little bit darker, I think I'll be happier with that corner. It won't be as distracting for me. So it was at 1. I'm just going to darken it a touch. And this is really an exercise in subtlety, making sure that your piece isn't getting so out of control with enhancements that it doesn't look realistic anymore. As a side note, if you wanted to get some kind of like fade to some of these adjustment layers, you can work with the brush tool inside this mask layer. And if you have let's go to the default brushes, and if you have a large fuzzy brush to use, you can use the white and black, which is this. You can click on this little icon in the top left corner here of your color choices, and white will add to that mask. You can see that darkening the edge a little bit along there. And if you switch them, this little arrow here, to black, black will take away and paint this blackness into that white space there and remove that darkness from here. So you can get some fairly subtle effects with soft brushes and working in these adjustment layers. Let's do a final one where I boost the saturation a touch. And let's drag this out, make those colors a slight touch more vibrant. And that's it. So you can save this file. You go to File, Save As, and you know it's 8.5 by 8 by 10 at 300, and you rename it so it's your last name dot first name dash whatever the project is. So this is found alphabet, and this is the letter H. So you can say found alphabet h.psd, and you can save that into the correct folder. Press save. That means you can still modify any of those adjustment layers, and you'll be able to now save as again, Control Shift S, or back up to save as, and to make this easy to transfer and easy to print document, you can save it as a JPEG as well, and that's the way we can get it to our printer. So all you do is change the format. Since you know you're in the right spot, the word copy gets added here, but don't worry about that. It's not a big deal. And then make sure your quality is up to 12 and press OK. So you've got the PSD with enhancement layers, you've got a now printable JPEG, and you've got this beautiful composition. Now, you guys try it.